What up? What up? It's your girl Brat, B-R-A-T. Yes, you heard that right, Brat. And here we are. Today we doing a little something different. It's a dance story time. And this story is about when my ballet teacher called me fat. Now, trigger warning, especially has to do with a lot of body shaming. The dance world is notorious for this. So if this is something that makes you feel a little bit sensitive, I would advise you watch another video, okay? All right, before we go to video, I'm gonna share my shirt. So I started my line of financial empowerment apparel for dancers in 2020. And this was a collection that was to thank everyone who supported the movement so far. So I took a whole bunch of people who sent me shots of them wearing my shirts, and I sublimated it onto a t-shirt. So you see all these faces, and when it says freelance, not free dance, or working dancer, these are all the people that supported me. So shout out to y'all, and shout out to people who continue to support the message so that dancers can thrive and have big fulfilling lives in the arts, okay? All right, now back to the story time. So before we get to the meat and potatoes, let's take it back, yeah? So in college, I believe this was my second year of college, second or third. No, it was third because I was living by myself. Because the first 2 years I lived in the dorms, and then the third year I was like, yeah, the dorms is there was too many story times in that arena. So I was like, I need to live solo dolo. Like, that's how I need to live my life. So I went to school, FYI, Columbia College, in Chicago. And when I lived on campus, I stayed in the South Loop, which is like equivalent to downtown. And then third year, I moved to the north side, not the north suburbs, but the north side. So like, AKA the end of Lakeshore Drive. And that area, what's that area called? I lived off of Bryn Mawr. But yeah, not the end of the line, but close to the suburbs, kind of. Like a few more stops on the train, and I would have been in the north suburbs. But we just say north side because it was still in Chicago, yeah? So, and because I had my own kitchen, I was big, in college, this is the first time you're fully in charge of taking care and feeding yourself. I was like exploring all these different modes of eating. It's just like, are we a fruitarian today? We a vegetarian? We a pescatarian? What we doing? And I came across this book by Queen Afua. If you're from New York, especially if you're from Brooklyn, you probably know who Queen Afua is. But she definitely, is into veganism, raw foods, aka raw fruits and vegetables, very clean eater. And my mom used to actually read her, like she had her book when I was little. So that's the first time I saw that kind of information. And then when I went to college, I bought one of her books, the Heal Thyself book. And they had like a 21-day challenge where you just ate raw food. So just fruits and veggies. So you can have like a raw fruit and veggie, like in its natural state. You can make a salad, but no dressing. And you can make juices. So I got a juicer, eating lots of salads, lots of fruits. And I did that for 3 weeks. Now the first week of it felt like starvation. Second week, it's crazy because I had immense amount of energy, something about eating what they would call a term live foods. I felt like I had so much energy, I was buzzing, like I had excess energy. So people would have probably thought I was a little hyper, but I was eating I was juicing and then taking it to school. So I had at least 2 juices a day. I had when I tell you, if you got a big food container, I was eating salads that big. And I was still not to say in the first week I felt more hungry. Second week I felt like I couldn't even finish the salad. And considering you're only eating raw fruits and vegetables, it's not that many calories, but I still was getting full. And then the third week it was kind of my body was oh, we about to eat real food again. So I was my mind was more in the frame of I can't wait to eat food. But I think I could have done it longer, but that energy high was definitely a strange feeling. But during that time, in college, like when I would go, because I lost like 20 something pounds in that time. And that was crazy for me because I was not that heavy to begin with. So I got into the one like 20s like range, and that's not the best for me. Like for me right now, I'm like 145. And that's like 140, 145 is like a good range for me. Once I start dipping under that, it starts to me looking thin. So it's interesting because you know how different people perceive different things. Like my black classmates or my, contemporaries are like, girl, you okay? Because I'm a very muscle bound person. Like I'm like a mesomorph. Like I'm not a skinny person. I'm not a person who packs on weight easy, but I'm like a very solid muscular person. And so all my black peoples was like, girl, what's going on? And now all the white people's like, oh my God, I could see your ribs. Ballet teachers loving it. So it was very like in my mind, I was like, I already knew that there was a difference in how white people and black people perceive bodies, but that made it all the more apparent, right? So that only lasted for 3 weeks though. Then we went on like school break and I was like eating normal. And then I got back into like the 130s range. I didn't even get into like my 140s yet. And so we're coming back from the break and I took ballet. And we all know ballet. She's not, especially in the 19th or the 20th or the 21st century, like we know the body types that ballerinas or ballet usually goes for. And again, I'm not a small person, I'm not a big person, I'm like in the middle person. Like I'm bigger than some people, I'm smaller than others, So I came back and I was in the 130s and we're at the bar, doing our thing. And, I was probably just out of alignment. We could say that. Because I've never been a person to have any kind of like, if I gain weight, it's mostly in my thighs. I don't usually gain weight up top. Like that's not where my weight goes. My weight goes straight to my thighs and my butt. So, and in the 130s, again, I'm still like, that's still very slim for me. So I know like I didn't have like a gut sticking out. Like that's not how my body was. But I know I probably was, doing a anterior tilt of the pelvis, aka like kind of sticking my butt out, just not being well aligned for ballet at least. And the teacher came up to me and instead of just like correcting my alignment, being like, oh, drop your sits bones or whatever, she's just like, suck it in, fatso. And when I tell you, you could hear a pin drop in that room, everybody was like horrified. And I just remember looking at this woman like, what did you just say to me? But because she's a teacher, I'm a student, and she's, an older dance teacher, she probably thinking that's okay, because in their era, they used to have like scales in the front of the classroom before class even started. They had to step on the scale to show how much they weighed. So she's coming from that era. So probably in her mind, what she's thinking is not that bad. But to us in the, a little bit more conscious era of mental health and things like that, people in the classroom were horrified to the point where first of all, I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed. And also like, I never took in what she said to me, the comment, because I'm like, I know I'm not fat, not to say nothing's wrong with being fat, but I'm just like, what is she talking about? Like, in my mind, I was like, girl, you couldn't just tell me to like line my hips up over my legs. Like, you had to say it like that and try to shame me in front of these people. Like, why did you choose? Like, that's how my mind was working. And then when class is over, I'm still embarrassed because she yelled it. And we're in the middle of bar. And imagine that happening. The accompanist is playing the piano stops. Everybody in the room stops, looks at me, and she's just like in front of me. And that's like the only note, like physically, I've heard from this woman all class. So, take it how it go, finish class. And I remember at the end of class, a classmate was like, yo, are you okay? Like, I can't believe she said that. And I was like, I'm good. Again, because I'm just like, I couldn't take what she said seriously, because in my mind, I'm like, girl, I know I'm not big. But whatever you got going on upstairs, you didn't know how to articulate correctly what you needed me to do. and you basically just fell back into old habits and was like, yo, I'm just gonna call her fat, she's gonna get it together. And that was not helpful. And I'll never, like, it's interesting, especially only in the dance, not to say like people in every day don't have commentary on how you look and what have you, but I find that particularly in the dance space, like, it's so rampant. And I've experienced in other, like, that's ballet, I've experienced in commercial dance, I've experienced in, like, you know, other forms of performance dance, and I'm always just like, how have we not, like, have we not all received the same HR training, which is just like, you don't talk about people's appearance like that? Like, again, I know we use our bodies, and especially if, say, you're with certain companies, they want you to have certain aesthetic, but I'm just like, as a whole, I feel like the dance world still needs to work on how you communicate these type of things, or even do these type of things even need to be communicated? Because, for instance, say you have a dancer who's bigger and she's in a, you know, a company of people, and she's doing the movement well, or they're doing the movement well, like, or even excelling against others, their health is not in jeopardy, they're able to do what needs to be done to perform the work. Do you absolutely, or is it necessary to even talk to them about their weight if they can do the job? Like, I feel like people really need to, like, see, like, okay, I can look at a person and be like, physically they can do it, physically they can't, and that doesn't matter the range of weight. It's just like, somebody could be skinny and do something out of alignment and hurt themselves. Like, it is what it is. But I feel like people really need to make the distinction between if you're going off aesthetics or mechanics. If mechanically they're doing it well and the performance quality is high, there's no need to chastise someone for their weight, no matter if it's big or small. And I really hope that in future dance, you know, students or on the job, people are not reprimanded, embarrassed, called out for being whatever size they are. And I was just sharing that story to be like, yo, on some real, don't, and I'm telling you, it's happened to me several times in different ways, and I'll maybe share another story time later. But I hope one thing about dance is, yes, it's about your physical, but it's also about your mental. And to keep your mental and emotional safe in order for you to express and perform in your physical is very important, because people can wear you down, and you don't want them wearing you down mentally, emotionally, to the point where you can't perform at your best. So don't take what people say with a grain of salt, because you don't know where they're coming from mentally, what training they're coming from, what hurt they have in their past, who has influenced how they view dance and dancers. So dancers overall, as long as you're training for your style and doing the best you can to take care of your body, that's all that matters. Your size does not matter. Okay? Alright, guys. Just want to share that little story time, and if you have any questions about that, or comments, concerns, anything, please leave it down in the description, or not in the description, in the comments. Alright, guys? Alright, I hope to see y'all later. Bye.